Information. Okay, we are live. Let me go to the public chat, get that organized so I can keep an eye on that real quick, and then we'll get started. Want to mute the player so we don't get a massive echo, man.
All right. Give me a sec.
All right, here we go. Yeah. Welcome to the next show of the One-on-One with the Quiet Atheist. Today's guest is going to be Forbidden Thinker. Our discussion today is going to be his deconversion story. If you guys want to check out his material on his channel, and if his subject matter is to your liking, his link will be in the description down below for everybody. If you like his material, again, please give him a subscription. I think that he would really appreciate that. With that said, I'd like to make a friendly reminder. If you guys wish to be in future episodes in a one-on-one with the Quiet Atheist, be sure to send me an email at theclosetatheist77@gmail.com and let me know what topic you want to discuss, and I'll do the best to my ability to have that discussion with you. Now, with that said, I'm going to give the floor to Forbidden Thinker, and tell us about yourself a little bit, Forbidden Thinker. Plug your shit, talk about what your channel is all about for a couple minutes and let everybody know.
All right. So my channel is mainly about discussing religion, atheism, and some sort of spirituality. And I do enjoy talking about the more taboo-ish subjects in our culture, like religious circumcision, from that to another subject I'm trying to get into, which is necrophilia, which is a bit more disturbing, but still, I do enjoy all the taboo subjects that a lot of these religions and a lot of these cultures simply refuse to talk about. And that's actually why my channel is named Forbidden Thinker, because I was told from an early age, and even to now, that it's forbidden to have your own thoughts and opinions outside of religion and God. And that's actually the origin of the name of my channel. And currently, right now, I'm trying to get into talking about a little bit more about Christianity. And in fact, I'm working on a video called Interfaith, or basically it's the people that think you can have religions cooperate with each other and work together and make stuff. And in the video, I'm going to be talking about why that's a folly thing, and it's just a fool gambit.
All right, that works. Be sure to check out the link in the description, guys. If you guys are interested in his channel. So, Forbidden Thinker, let's get on to your story here. Feel free to take as much time as you need. And then after you tell your story, we'll get into questions.
All right. So
go ahead and start your story.
All right. My story really starts out in high school, because back then I was a Christian, and I started out as a Christian because it was a popular thing to do. Now, before I start, I have to make one clarification. I was not the normal Christian. I was a reformist Christian with a YouTube channel. And that channel no longer exists for certain reasons, but I was actually really, really popular. I had 1,000 subs, and at the time, I advocated towards taking a pair of scissors and taking the Bible and basically cutting out parts of the Bible. And back then, it was my idea just to shut the atheists up. Like, if you have a problem with this verse, okay, I'll take it out, and we'll put it into a new Bible book. But what happened was, here's the thing. While I was talking about how Islam was bad with other things, I made this one video where I was critical of the Bible, and I was saying, hey, as Christians, we should take Genesis, the whole book of Genesis, and just take it out of the Bible, and because it's too homophobic, it's too discriminatory. And what happened was I instantly lost 800 subs, and I was told that I was a TJ sex slave from that to a heretic and the atheistic apologetics. It was basically the Christian community that I was told that it was supposed to be about love and kindness, but in reality they backstabbed me and treated me like dirt, and that sort of soured my taste of Christianity for a bit. And at the time I became a little bit crazy, and I was angry because I was led with a lie, basically, that the Christians were supposed to be nice up until the point when I said, let's take out Genesis. And that was really at the point when I left Christianity completely, because it just seemed a lot more hate than love to me. And a lot of the anger was dispersed when I embraced Buddhism. Now, at the time, I was kind of a little bit ignorant of Buddhism, and I gave Buddhism a try, and I liked the philosophical side of it, like making sure that you only need what you need instead of what you want, sort of stuff. But I left Buddhism because I couldn't tolerate the spirituality aspects of it, because I couldn't buy into it. Like the fact that you could have reincarnation of, say, you died and you somehow magically come back as another animal or form, that's something I could never get with. Especially with the contradictory views of Dalai Lama, who in some parts says don't worship me as a god, then other parts are like you have to worship him, and it's like contradictory in my mind. Then right around that time, I decided to embrace Satanism. Now, this wasn't Anton LaVey Satanism. I was a theistic Satanist, so I gave that a go, and I came up with a contradiction. Basically, I was a theistic Satanist, so I believe in a literal devil, but turns out in the book of the Satanic Bible, it's taboo to worship the devil himself. So yeah, that was kind of contradictory, and I left Satanism too because there were some parts of it that I couldn't get along with, like not helping those who can't help themselves is something I could never tolerate. And that was right around the time when I was again backstabbed by Steve Shives when I still had the Christian channel. Granted, the sub count was no longer 1,000; it was 200 at the time, and I told Steve why I disagreed with him on one video, and he backstabbed me by calling me a waste of human life and how I don't deserve to be in the skeptical community. And those were for other reasons. And not only he blocked me, he sort of deleted the comment. So that was ironically right before I was about to take a screenshot of that comment. And right after he blocked and deleted that comment, it became impossible for me to prove that was even the case anymore. And that's when I was really depressed for a lot of my life. And because in a sense I was backstabbed twice from the Christian, so-called Christian loving community. Then I was also backstabbed by someone that I actually looked up to. And more towards the end of the story, I embraced Christopher Hitchens and his talks with the Catholic preachers, and especially with his brother, Peter Hitchens. And when I switched over to being an atheist, it was sort of a click for me because it made a lot more sense that there was no evidence for a deity or of any sort, and I wasn't ever all angry because, like I said before, all the anger was dispersed long before I became an atheist. So that's why I avoid talking about other people's deconversions if they involve them being upset about being told a lie, because I've always felt like an alien to that because I've never experienced that side of the stuff. But I have experienced being backstabbed twice, so I will share that one. Then I think what really tipped me over on the God thing was really when I was being asked, actually told, that you can't question God because it's forbidden. God made the rules, and I told them if it's forbidden to talk about God and to talk about religion, then isn't that censorship? And that's how also the name started out, and that's how I became an atheist.
Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. Now, before I get to a question for you, I want to give you a little brief history of my deconversion. I was born to a Catholic father and a Protestant mother. I was a Christian for probably 30 years. And about 8 years old, I decided to go to a church with my uncle and his family. And I sat there and I listened to the preacher at the pulpit basically talking about, the end times. And he was reading out of the book of Revelations. And during this whole situation, he was starting to talk about the end times, and he was basically saying that when the signs start coming around, all the governments of the world are going to combine as one. And the leader, which is going to be Lucifer himself, is going to be released from his prison in hell, allegedly. And he's going to claim his throne as the new leader, the one world government. And the Pope is basically going to be his right-hand man. And during his reign for a period of 7 years on planet Earth, he was going to institute this new program, if you will, where he's going to make people register with the mark of the beast, which is 666, either on your hand or your forehead. And this would give you the rights to live like you do now, basically, shopping for groceries, going to the movies, this, that, whatever the case might be. But if you refuse to do that, you will be brought to a trial where you will be found guilty and you will be beheaded. Now, I was 8 years old when I heard that out of me, and I lived for my whole life walking on eggshells, basically, wondering if I'm doing this right, if I'm doing this wrong. I was constantly saying that I'm worthless, I'm this and that, and I'm not worthy of this alleged infinite love that was supposed to be given, right? But long story short, I was on Facebook, an individual, Dusty Smith, by the way, and I started to watch his videos about 2011, and I also discovered him on YouTube, and he was basically the one that basically pushed me through the door, and I became an atheist about 5-6 years ago, and it's been a rough ride ever since. I've gotten millions of hate comments, how I just want to sin and stuff like that, but it is what it is. And that's just a long story short. I don't want to bore you with my story, but now that is out of the way, I wanted to ask you a question. Now that you have an opportunity to look back on your former self, what do you think?
Well,
what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on my former self was that I was kind of ignorant on being gullible to being told that the Christian community was a nice, fun place, but really it's just a lie. I mean, if you disagree with Christianity while you're being a Christian, you're more likely to get attacked by Christian trolls, and that's what happened with my old Christian channel. I said one video and instantly my sub count was from 1,000 to 200, and I received eight flags, 2 copyright strikes, and 1 doxing. Believe it or not, someone tried to dox me, and that was from the Christians.
Damn.
And that was from the Christians alone.
You have an opportunity to look back on yourself. Was there anything that you had a problem with your past self, basically? I mean, couldn't would you be able, or would, if you had the ability, would you be able to change something about your former self?
One thing. When I was a Christian, I was extremely xenophobic, and I'd like to change that because back then I was advocating towards the destruction of Islam, and I was way too harsh, and I used to call just any Islamic YouTuber as weak and pathetic for even dare mentioning how Islam was peace. And honestly, back then I was extremely angry and hateful, and I wish I had a better tone of mood.
Yeah. So what is your primary reason that motivates you to do what you're doing today?
Well, 2 things actually. The big reason why I do is because I want to let the world know that Christianity is nothing more than a hope dream, or I think it's called a pipe dream or something like that, where it makes you believe in a lot of lies, and especially of the Christian community, and why it's really detrimental in the United States, and we need to basically change that. And the second motivator that motivates me to make these videos is because I used to have a friend who was the person who was doxxed. Like I mentioned before, when I was being doxxed, they accidentally got my friend instead of me, and he and I made a promise never to speak each other again. But I made a commitment to taking down sort of Christianity back then, and it's sort of a promise for him, for his sake.
Yeah. My core reason why I do what I do is because of childhood indoctrination. I think that, children are innocent, and unfortunately there are Christians out there who take advantage of that situation, and they want to pollute the minds of children with nothing but fear, intimidation, and threats of hell and this and that, and that really offends me, dude, and that is why I do what I do on here, when it comes to religion.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been against childhood indoctrination, and my whole, core reason in regards to childhood indoctrination comes from, when I was 8 years old, when I told you about, sitting in the church with my uncle's family and, hearing this stuff from this pastor at the pulpit. And, it's something that is disgusting. I believe that it's totally inappropriate to tell a child these things, It's all about intimidation for these people. I think, they realize that their numbers are rapidly falling now to about 72%, I believe, last time I heard. I could be wrong. That is why they're going after the young children. And it's something that, I will continue to stand against. I'll continue to fight against it, But as far as your channel is concerned, Forbidden Thinker, what are your future plans for your channel? What kind of things do you plan on pursuing in the future?
I'm trying to pursue into more of debunking Christianity, and also maybe talk about the ethics of human behaviors, as well as talking about the history of atheism. I touched on it a couple times, so I would like to touch on that a bit more.
Yeah. Now, speaking of deconversion, think about the deconversion process from Islam? You know, the dangers that are faced with it once someone has deconverted. What do you think about that?
Well, I have to say, when you're trying to deconvert from Islam, it's entirely different from Christianity because Christians aren't likely to try and kill you for it. However, Islam is more likely to do that. So, yeah, I'm heavily against killing of atheists, and I it's something that I've touched on when I was a Christian. In fact, back then I would always say that the simple fact that you have all these Islamic countries that outlaw atheists just proves to me that Islam is nothing more than a great evil that needs to be purged, and this in the mere fact that Islam that you can get killed for just not believing in God offends me to no end, especially on the historical events. Like it offends me to no end that this has been going on for so long, that Islam has been had not have gone through a reformation yet.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that it's going to be a very long time before this religion is even exposed to a reformation. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, it's, you know, when it comes to, you know, Christianity and Islam, I mean, as far as the barbarism is concerned, there's absolutely no fucking comparison right now. Islam takes the cake on that one.
yeah, definitely.
Um, um, but you know, it often people when they, you know, one of the things that a lot is when, say, for example, Christianity. You know, when someone deconverts from Christianity, you know, a lot of their families disown them. You know, they suddenly are cast out to the side of the street like garbage. You know, I have done videos in the past where these parents would find out that their student is an atheist, right? So right away they would, you know, pull their funding from their child's college tuition and basically leave this person on the street with no money, nothing like that. They're willing to go to these extremes, you know, and that really bothers me. And it's something that, you know, often I think about because these people, again, when they deconvert, sure, it's to a less extreme, yeah, but, you know, a lot of these people disown family members because of it. And I think that's bad. You know, if my parents were still alive, you know, and if they were to find out that I was an atheist, I'd probably be disowned by both of them, you know. And that's how bad it gets, you know. It sucks. These thinking processes that these individuals have really do fucking suck, and it does have a negative impact on people all over the country and around the world, you know. And it's something that I hope that in the future can, you know, be improved, you know, like the understanding, you know, have a sit down with your child if they are, you know, questioning things, and actually have a discussion with them, you know. Don't berate them with, you know, religious propaganda. Don't tell them that they're going to go to hell and burn, and you know, when it comes to my children, I've always had the idea that they can basically learn whatever they want, you know. They could go out there and expose themselves to any type of education that they want. And they are perfectly, you know, okay to go out there and, you know, come to a rational conclusion about anything that they encounter in everyday life. You know, that's, you know, I support them in regards to whatever they decide to do in the future and now. And I'm not going to sit there and throw them to the curb because of the decisions that they make, right? You know, because I don't want to teach my children, you know, what to think. I want to teach them how to think, because I believe that education is important here, and it's something that I take very seriously. And that's how I look at things, you know. What do you think?
Well, the way I see it, whenever a Christian parent disowns their child, I see that as immoral because I mean, we live in the United States, and we shouldn't be disowning our children like that just because they don't believe. Like, I've never had that experience because my parents didn't care. Like, my dad was an atheist and my mom's a believer, but neither of them actually cared about that subject. But from what I know, I just find it immoral to disown your child just because they don't believe in a fairy tale or a deity of that sort. And
Yeah.
the mere fact that you get these parents that are willing to do that to the point where they cut their funding, their school funding, that just tells me that the parent shouldn't even be a parent to begin with if they act that way.
I agree. One of the best things about being a parent is being understanding, when it comes to your child pursuing their interests, being supportive, even if you disagree with something that they pursue or they want to be there for them, support them, encourage them, and berate them with hatred and threats of hell and threats of this, or threats of that. That simply does not make any fucking sense at all, period. I personally think that's inappropriate, But when it comes to your channel, Forbidden Thinker, have you a deconversion story on your channel yet?
I already did. It's I posted it some time ago, and I can try and find the video and repost it in chat for you if you like.
No, that's fine. Just if you can, like make a short video or something, letting everybody know on your channel about your deconversion story, and then get that link to that video and post it in the description. That way, if there's new people that come to your channel, they can see your whole story in its entirety, and be able to become familiar with how you are now, the Forbidden Thinker,
I'll make sure to do that.
Whenever you get a chance to.
Oh yeah, I will, and I'll certainly do that. The ironic thing was when I was in that video, when I was talking about why I left Satanism, believe it or not, Mike Cross was subscribed to me. Then instantly, 5 minutes after I made that video and I uploaded, he unsubbed to me. So there's a fun fact about that video.
What about your deconversion story?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, I haven't talked to him in a long time, and I really don't care to. So
yeah, same here. I was just checking my sub count because I was worried that maybe a lot of people would be intimidated and they'd leave. And so far, the number's only been one, and that was Mike Cross. So yeah, fun fact.
Well, when it comes, to subscribers, that's important, But, it is also important to realize that when it comes to your channel, the people that are going to leave or stay, you can't make everybody happy. But the important thing to realize here is the fact that you have people there that actually listen to what you have to say. And it doesn't matter if you have 40 million fucking subscribers like PewDiePie, or simply, 30 subscribers, right? The fact that you have people there that are willing to listen to what you have to say means a lot, So the numbers, when you really look at the numbers, it really doesn't make any kind of difference. The fact that people are sitting there listening to your content and watching you on YouTube, and the thing that I could say when it comes to your channel, Forbidden Thinker, just be you. Like I told you a long time ago, if you have something that you want to talk about that you feel real confident about, shoot a video, man, upload it to the channel, and see what everybody's reaction is going to be. I mean, there's only going to be two things that are going to happen. They are either going to like it or they're going to dislike it. One of the two, But as long as you are being true to yourself, in what you want to do with your channel and what you want to pursue in the future, you know, that's good. Because there's a lot of people here on YouTube that basically put on this facade, if you will. And once the camera's off, they are totally a different person. Right?
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
And I'm, you know, the same person on camera that I am in real life. You know, to an extent. There's a small amount of things that I really don't show on YouTube, you know. But generally, for the most part, you know, I'm generally the same way that I am off camera and out of Hangouts, you know. If you have something that you want to share with people and that you want to bring out into the open, don't be scared to do it, man, you know. And, you know, always, you know, follow, you know, what you want to do, follow your desires in regards to where you want your channel to go. And that's basically it for that.
All right.
But yeah, deconversion stories, man. I mean, since I've been here on YouTube, and I could understand why it would be extremely hard for a lot of people, you know, to face their family members and face their loved ones, friends, et cetera, you know. People in this country look at atheists as people being horrible, right? Being immoral, having no moral foundation whatsoever, when we know that that's not the case, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But these people, you know, they are biased. They have a narrative. They have an agenda that they want to push forth when it comes to religion. You know, they want to implement these things within society, and they really don't care about any kind of a rational discussion, and that is a significant problem, you know. But I always say, you know, continue, you know, if you ever, you know, find yourself, you know, questioning yourself about things, that's a good thing, you know. On something that Kazum Fowler made a comment on in one of his videos I saw earlier today. Always be skeptical of yourself, you know. You not only have to be skeptical of everything else out there, but including yourself as well, right? Yeah. You have to be open to the possibility wrong about things, you know. And it's something that is really refreshing. Now, if I'm wrong about something, I'll admit it. But that's the thing. If I am wrong, you know. And but when it comes to deconversions and stuff like that that are real important for people who are experiencing these things, Christians will deny them the capability. They'll try to deny them, you know, and it's simply wrong. It really is. And that's one of the biggest things that I have a fucking problem with. You know, people, certain Christians out there, I can't say all of them, but certain Christians out there want to shield, you know, individuals from anything remotely resembling a rational thought. They think that education is horrible. They think that, you know, science is the work of the devil. And I'm just talking about a few of these people, you know.
Yeah. And
it's fucking insane.
Yeah, it is. And the thing I don't get is if you ask a Christian about the Bible, they will be skeptical of you. However, if you ask them to be skeptical of their own beliefs, they'll flat out reject it. And as well as that's a really big thing that bothers me the most, the simple fact that they simply refuse to question their own merits, their own beliefs. And if they did, then everything would change for them. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Well, if you notice, one thing that is absolutely fucking hilarious when it comes to deconversions, you'll have Christians that'll come up to you and say, well, you were never a true Christian. You know, they love to use that no true Scotsman fallacy a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
I never liked that fallacy. my my thought is that nobody's a true Christian because if you were a real true Christian, then you'd be in prison right now because there's so many things in the Bible that makes you do heinous things like stoning your child to death and doing all these things. And so my response is that you could say the same argument for anybody, and ultimately there's no such thing as a true Christian because most likely those people are probably in prison by now.
Yeah. Those things those barbaric things are in the Old Testament. We don't pay attention to them anymore.
And yet Jesus in the New Testament advocated for almost the same stuff. Yeah,
and then every time they say something like that, I say, well, that means you can't take the creation story seriously. Oh, wait a minute. We do want that. Oh, we got some cherry pickers here. So when it does come to deconversions, when people actually share their intimate stories with people, it's infuriating to see Christians mock that, off. Because again, they throw the no true Scotsman out there, every single fucking chance that they get. And that's a bit, that's simply fucking asinine as far as I'm fucking concerned, But yeah, deconversion stories, are very serious, for the people that experience them. I'm not saying all atheists experience them because there are people out there who are basically, atheists their whole life, but there are some people out there that do actually experience deconversions. They feel that this enormous weight lifted off of their shoulders, and that is a good thing.
It is, and it is, and when it comes to those sort of things, it can be a weight lift off your back because in some cases you can be told a lie for all your life, and the moment when you just leave that lie, it changes your whole life and perspective to new levels, and it really does lift a burden off your back, basically.
Yeah. I think you're having a little bit of an issue with your audio.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I accidentally moved the mic a bit farther. Now it's better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what was that last part you were talking about? Because that's when you bleeped out, basically.
Oh, sorry. When we're having all these deconversions, it can lift a very big burden off your back because when that happens, it changes your worldview, just everything about you, and it's the only way for someone to grow, really, because without that, I mean, how does a xenophobic Christian I used to be just turn into a nice person like me?
Well, one of the things that I experienced when I deconverted is the fact that I didn't have to live with this fear, if you will, I didn't have to, basically second guess myself, wondering if I was good enough to do this or that, good enough in the eyes of this alleged God, whatever. I didn't have to deal with that anymore. I was confident in myself. I didn't, believe in any of this horseshit anymore. Able to move forward, which was important for me, and I was beginning to develop a passion, for the human species, humanity in general, and that's why I want to do whatever I can, if it's possible, to reach as many people as I can throughout my existence here on YouTube, because I want to share my thoughts. I want to share my opinions. I want to share my future discussions about deconversion, and more people who are sitting on the fence or watching things like this, perhaps they'll be able to come to a rational conclusion themselves, and that's important. Because I don't think necessarily that we're going to get to those, really heavy duty Christians, those Christian fundamentalists like that, because they're too set in their ways. But the important thing is, is the fact that there's a possibility that there are people out there watching your videos who are probably sitting on the fence. you know, wondering what they should be doing, you know. And those are the types of people that I would prefer to get a hold of, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's important to me, you know. And I've been on here now, I believe it's 5 years now, 5 years, about 5.5 years. My channel has been on here since 2012, I believe, April of 2012. And I've met a lot of interesting people. I've met some people that I probably regret meeting in the first place, you know. But you know, it is what it is. You know, you know, on here you got to take the good with the bad. You know, you got to take it all in, and you got to, you know, take all of this information in, even if it is positive or negative. You know, you got to take it all in, because the moment you do that, the more that you learn about yourself. I personally think, you know, and that's extremely important to me. But how do you feel about your channel now in its present form?
Well, I feel that my channel is a lot better than my Christian channel, for one thing, because well, I'm a lot more honest about myself on these views, and I'm actually having a lot more positive comments than my old Christian channel, because on my old Christian channel before I deleted it, I used to get hundreds of angry letters just calling me out, saying I was a TJ sex slave for dare coming close to a Bible with a pair of scissors. And I don't mind negative comments, but I do if it's constant, like thousands. But
Yeah.
But I am a lot more honest with this channel, and I do like it when people respond to what I say with open arms and open criticism, as well as some positive views. And
Yeah.
what really made me happy was I believe I made this video talking about it. It was talking about the 3 types of people who subscribe to drama, and I got a lot of positive views on that, so that made me happy.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. You know, one of the things that I like about deconversion are starting to be honest with themselves. You know, they stop lying to themselves about a lot of things. And, you know, that I started doing that pretty much right away once I started to walk towards atheism, you know, because before that, I didn't even know what an atheist was, dude. You know, I was sheltered from anything like that my whole life. You know, my parents kept me away from that, you know, pretty much, you know, my whole childhood. I didn't know what it was like, or I didn't know what these people were like, you know, and until I met my first one, you know, and I had some hostilities and stuff like that towards them because of the whole pathetic fucking mindset that I had. I started catching myself up on literature and, you know, looking into science more and stuff like that. You know, I started, you know, saying, hey, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, and that's when I started to journey where I'm at now, man. You know, and I don't regret it one single bit. Because, see, with me, I don't fear death at all anymore. You know, in fact, in some sort of morbid way, I welcome it, you know. I enjoy life as each day goes by as if it were my last, you know. And that's the problem with a lot of Christians. And they concentrate too much on the fucking end, you know. You know, that life just passes them completely by.
Yeah, they don't take life in the present. They only worry about what happens eventually when you do die, and that's all that they worry about, this heaven place. And what bugs me is that when they focus so much on the end, that makes them do so many horrific things, like blocking people's rights from that to discriminating.
Yeah.
And that's all because of some fairy tale that talks about an afterlife that they want to believe and they want to worship really hardly. And they just never want to live in the moment. Basically, it's the here and now that's far more important than the end.
Yeah. And when one deconverts, I think personally for me, and I released myself from all of this poison that was polluting my life, completely. And, I have, as a direct result of this, I have a new way of thinking, and it's something that is enlightening in so many fucking ways. Extremely thankful for all the positive people that I have met here on YouTube and everywhere else, And I'm not even sure when I met you on here. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was it 2 years ago or something?
I'm not sure. I think it was maybe 2.5 years ago. Probably, I'm wanting to say about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. I think it was on a video I was talking about what would happen if the Christians got their way. And I was saying how if that were to happen, then the Christians themselves would be discriminated from other Christians. And I'm trying to remember that video.
Well, when I first came across your channel, I think you only had like 3 videos on there.
Oh, yeah. That might have been one of them.
Yeah, I can't remember the specific ones that I saw, but yeah, you only had like 3 videos on there. And I remember when I first met you, I was always telling you in the comment section, do something about that audio, man, because when you had that mask on, it's fucking hard to understand what you were saying, man.
Yeah, I fixed that problem. I wear a new headset with a mic that dangles underneath the mask, so that solves the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh. What would your message be to people out there who have thoughts about deconverting?
My thought is this: for those who want to actually give it a shot, don't be afraid to actually do it, and just do it in a way that that you can learn and explore your horizons, and don't be afraid of what others can tell you, because take it from my experience, I was told heavily that an atheist is the worst thing imaginable, but just ignore those people and just focus on what you can do and all the things you can strive to become. And if you end up becoming an atheist, that's good. And if you lose some people, well, that's to be expected, but you're going to get a lot more people in the end that will like you more than the people that hate you.
Yeah. Because where you lose some things, you have so much more to gain, man.
Yeah.
And, you come across people who are accepting, they are there for you in so many ways. You can go to these places, and actually talk with these people, make new friends, basically what they call networking, and you could do so many wonderful things, that, Christianity prevents you from doing. And that is what I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it allows you to talk to other people and communicate and sort of cooperate and understand each other's issues. Like, there's so many ways that our issues are similar and different that it can really help others if they pay attention to it.
Yeah. Well, someone left a comment in the chat I'd like to bring up to you and let me know your thoughts about it. We were talking about, earlier about death. Mac Nuts 2, I believe. Forgive me if I mispronounced your name. He says they have a very exaggerated, overpowering fear of death, a direct result of their comforting beliefs. What do you think?
Well, that's really true. And when it comes to religion, yes, they have a fairy tale that gives them sort of the pseudo pill that makes you feel happy, and because a lot of people are afraid of death because it's an ultimate end. It's something that it means the end of us all, and the religion is a comforting pill that allows them to rewrite the books. But in reality, it's just a fiction thing, and no matter no matter what you put into a book or whatever the case may be, death is death. It's the end point, and people need to accept it for what it is and make the best of what life is now, so that you can live a much better life.
Yeah. I always like to bring out that famous quote. I forgot who the author was, but he said basically that he wasn't inconvenienced by death billions of years before his existence, and he won't be inconvenienced by death billions of years after his existence. You know, I thought that fucking quote was awesome. You know?
Yeah, I like that quote too.
I forgot the specific author who wrote that, but it was pretty good, man. I liked it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember this other quote. The fear of the unknown and the fear of death are the great authors of stupidity and the religious. I don't remember the author of that quote, but I always found that one good too.
Yeah. Since we have a little bit of an audience, I'd like to give the audience the floor. Do you have any questions for Forbidden Thinker? If you do, please leave them in the chat, and I will see what we have here. McNutt said that quote that I just said was from Mark Twain, he believes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so if anybody out there has a question for Forbidden Thinker, you're more than welcome to ask it. Leave it in the chat, and I'll get a hold of it, and I'll ask him the question, and you guys will get his reply. Yeah, I think Mark Twain has some badass quotes, man.
Yeah, he's good. I've been watching God of Skeezer on that. He's been making a video series about Mark Twain, and they're pretty good.
Yep. I've been watching them. I've been watching them. Let's see if there's any questions for you. Hold on one second. Let's see. James New Droid. Sometimes I do announce live streams. It just depends. This one I was running a little bit late on because I was busy this morning, and this episode is basically running a little bit late. That is why I decided to run it now, and it's good to see you as well, James New Droid. McNutt says he will ask a question if it occurs. He just arrived.
All right.
So if anybody else out there that is watching wants to ask a question as well, feel free, because we'll answer a couple of questions for the next 15, 20 minutes, if you guys don't mind. No questions yet.
All right.
But now that we're in the question period, we'll just go ahead and talk about whatever you like and to come in.
All right. I'm trying to think of a good topic to talk about. What would be? What's your thoughts on the people who think peace among all religions and let's work together?
Well, I actually think that if we're going to live in the same area, we have to work together, even if we come to a disagreement on so many issues, right? For instance, there are, secular religious people out there who are actually fighting for the separation of church and state. They are actually honoring, that, which is good. I think more of that needs to be done, because in fact, this is a secular country, and it's something that needs to be respected as far as I'm concerned. And there are religious people out there, there are Christians out there that are actually, fighting for the separation of church and state on the front lines, for the lack of a better term. And, I think, people can coexist if, they actually take the time to work things out instead of being at each other's throats all of the fucking time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in this day and age, you have a lot of people that have something they have to fucking prove to everybody else, and mainly it's Christians who want a theocracy, and the majority of them don't want this country steered into a secular direction, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's not their agenda. That's not their motive. You know, they want something completely different, and they don't care if they affect people in a negative way, and that's a big problem. You know, the point is, if we work together, you know, even if, you know, people can still work together, even if they disagree on a great number of things. You know,
Mm-hmm. It's possible, certainly. I just see it as something really hard for some people to do, and I'm actually making my next video about this, of how difficult it is for religions to come together, but it is certainly possible.
I got a question for you, Forbidden Thinker, from James New Droid.
All right.
He basically says, what do you consider to be the single biggest challenge in overcoming theology?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is just accepting that you can be wrong on this issue or that issue. Just basically admitting that you were led a lie. And I think that's the biggest one of them all, because when I was just deconverting from being religious, I couldn't accept the fact that I was led a lie about how the Christian community was supposedly nice and kind. And it's really that accepting that you're wrong on that one issue is the biggest obstacle. And if you can overcome that, then you can overcome just about any other thing in your life.
Yeah. I got a very interesting question for you again from Mac Nuts too.
All right.
What if their beliefs do not allow them to live peacefully with any who disagree with their divine correctness?
Well, all the more reason to question it, because if the belief commands you to not be nice to others or just not tolerate others, then that's ever more the reason to question it, because, well, it's because of human compassion, really. Like, the moment when you try and hurt someone else, other people are going to object. And if you call for a belief that basically says the same thing, then yeah, ever more so that people should just question it a lot more.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, James New Droid says, the Islamic question. Yo, I mean, there's people that are totally, you know, against questioning things because they somehow think that, you know, this prophet of theirs or this God of theirs is completely unquestionable.
Yeah, they love to put that God on a untouchable pole, and you can't ever question or even ask questions about him. And that's what bugs me, because a lot of people forget that a lot of great thinkers in the world have questioned not just religion, just about anything. And they've always said the same thing, that if you have this one subject that's untouchable, then you have to touch it with a fun stick, basically.
Yeah. The more you tell me to not do something, the more I'm going to do it.
Exactly. And
you know, and it's something that they don't want. They don't want a challenge. And I'm talking about all of these religions. You know, a lot of these people don't want challenge. They don't want anybody challenging their position.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them, you know, the sad thing about it all is the fact that some of them are willing to get deadly just to stop you from challenging them. And to me, that's pathetic. It really is.
Yeah. What I find pathetic is the fact that you can get killed and stoned for just questioning stuff. And we live in a modern age where we're supposedly modern, and yet there's no government, there's no media site that says we should just change that. We should, like, nobody's advocating towards changing these religions for the better. And that's what bugs me a lot. Just the simple fact that those barbaric practices are still happening to this day. Like Uganda, it's one of the few Christian theocracies in the world. They still continue witch burnings.
Oh yeah, well they even over there in Africa, you have Christians that are getting Muslims over there and attaching them to big rubber tires and throwing them in ditches and burning them and vice versa. You got all kinds of shit going on, man.
Yeah, and in Islamic countries, we're having a lot of people being killed just for speaking out as an atheist, and also, also the more liberal Muslims are being killed as well. So that's why I don't think a reformation is going to happen anytime soon, because they're killing off a lot of the people who are speaking in a more liberal tone of Islam.
Yeah. Yep, I have to agree. Big time. Okay, now is the time for Forbidden Thinker, where I am basically going to see at the end of every show what I'd like to do. Well, towards the end of every show, what I like to do is I like to get the link to the Hangout, and I also like to place it in the description so that people can come in and we can close out the show, well, close out the episode, I should say. And and if some people want to come in here and talk with you about things, you know, they're more than welcome to. You know, that'd be great. I'm going to be placing the link in the description of this Hangout. Give me a few seconds to get there. Let's see. Because I had everything set up where I could basically keep an eye on the chat at the same time.
All right.
And yeah, I have to get to where I need to go to place the link where I need to put it. So we're going to do this. All right. Okay. Click Save Changes. All right, everybody. If you want to come in and have a chat with us or have a specific chat with the Forbidden Thinker, the link is in the description. I'll be on for about, I'd say, another 20, 30 minutes. Close off the show properly. If some of you guys want to come in, that'd be great. You're more than welcome to come in. Link's in there now. You'll probably have to refresh your page so that you can see the link in the description. It'll be at the top. But yeah, well, thank you for being on the show, Forbidden Thinker. I really, you know, this was freaking awesome, you know, and I'm sorry that this was, you know, a little bit disorganized. You know, I had a busy morning and we should have shot for tomorrow basically, but yeah, I figured what the hell, you know, let's have the show. Let's talk about, you know, this topic, you know, for a little bit and a few other things. Let's have the show for a little bit, you know, because, you know, I wanted to have this show with you and I promised you that the show was going to be today. And I would like to say, guys, that if, again, any of you want to have a show with me in the future, please email me at theclosetatheist77@gmail.com and we'll organize it. We'll get a specific topic in hand and we'll run with it. But if anybody wants to come in and have a chat with us for the next, I'd say 30 minutes, the link is in the description at the top. You might have to refresh your page if you're already watching, just so you can get the link. But let's see if there's any other questions or anything in the chat real quick.
All right.
Well, nothing yet. Oops. Nothing yet. So, do you got any future projects in mind on your channel?
Well, I do. I have two. Like I've already told you about the interfaith sort of thing. The other project I'm trying to get into is more or less I'm trying to make a perfected movie of all the immoral and the unethical actions of a select few, and I've already made the bulk of the movie, and I'm just trying to decide which parts to put in and that. And it's going to be basically about ethics.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of people just not doing ethical things anymore, and it's just getting downright scary.
Yeah. I see what you mean, man.
Like, it's perfectly ethical to ask questions and to act nice and kind and respectful towards each other. That's good. That's ethical. However, it's not ethical to act like a complete jerk and treat others as if they're cattle and slaves. Just in terms of subcounts and stuff like that.
Yep. I would like to remind everybody that is watching. Link is in the description if you want to come in and chat with us for a little bit before I hang the show up for the day. The link will be at the top. Just a friendly reminder. But as far as projects for me is concerned, I've got a big one that I'm wanting to do here soon. The only problem that I have right now is the equipment, which I'm working towards trying to get, because I want this project to be, as far as production is concerned. And I don't just want to use a cheesy ass camera. I don't want to use a cheesy ass webcam. I don't want to use cheesy ass anything, I want this project to be top quality, to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge as far as, good videos are concerned.
All right.
And it's going to take some time, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
All right. I would recommend watching Oozlu for you because he does a lot of great videos and he can probably help you out on the technical sort of stuff as well.
Yeah. What I might have to do, I don't know, man. It just depends. I'm gonna test it myself. I'm gonna shoot the footage when the time comes, and I'm gonna try and edit it myself. If not, if I can't edit it the way that I want it to look, I probably have to reach out for somebody,
All right.
Mr. McNuts 2, how you doing, sir? It just depends. I'm gonna test it myself. It is an honor to have you here, sir. I've known about you for a long time. Are you there? I think you're having problems with your audio, McNuts. Yeah, I think he's having problems with his audio. That's okay. Maybe he'll be able to come back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it's like for, people who, who you admired in the past, basically treat you like dog shit, and
yeah.
Steve Shives is a dick.
Oh, he is, because I known him from the very beginning, and just to see him turn into the monster he's become, just...
Hello, McNuts. How you doing, sir?
I am doing very well.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. Like I was telling you earlier, I've known about you for a long time.
Oh. Well, yeah, it was just pure accident. I saw the icon and I thought, oh, I like that guy. I better go check this out. There you were.
Yeah, because I seen you comment on a lot of videos, and I found that what you had to say about certain things was rather interesting. That's why generally I typically followed you everywhere where you went, just to see what you said about certain issues. And then all of a sudden, one day, I was checking something, and then I got an email saying that, McNuts 2 subscribe to my channel. I was like, well, fucking A.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm in serious hardcore writing mode these days, and I worked all night last night, and it's noon, and I haven't been to bed yet. And
oh, damn.
And I'm used to doing this to myself. Anyway, while I'm writing, I smoke a lot of pot.
Yeah.
So if I'm slow and awkward, you'll understand.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's perfectly fine to smoke, man. It is.
Oh, it's an important thing with me for a variety of reasons, especially since I went through this whole cancer thing. It really made a difference during the worst parts of that. Made a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I find it useful for writing, not because it inspires me so much as it's kind of like seat glue. Like it glues me to the seat and I just keep working. I find it easier to really just focus on working and not thinking about anything but what I'm writing and the pictures that makes in one's head. And I find it very useful that way. Now, on the other hand, if I had to take a math test, it would be a very bad idea to have any THC in my blood. Because then suddenly short-term memory and all those things become so radically important.
Yeah. So since I have you here, MacNuts, do you have any other questions for Forbidden Thinker that you might want to ask?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't, because I jumped in really late, and I only heard the very tail end of the discussion you guys were having. So,
okay.
I have nothing to work upon.
Oh, okay. Forbidden Thinker, if you want to, real quick, give him a real short version of your deconversion story, and let's see if he has any questions for you.
All right. I start out as a extremely angry, xenophobic, reformist Christian in the very beginning. Then, after being booed out of the Christian community, I became a Buddhist. And after some time, I left that too to become a theistic Satanist. Then, after quite a bit of time, I became an atheist after all that. And that was as an extremely angry, xenophobic, reformist Christian.
Yeah.
After being pulled out of the Christian community, I became a Buddhist. I'm hearing the echo.
Yeah, I'm hearing it as well. I'm just ignoring it as best I can.
Are you still talking, Forbidden Thinker?
Oh, no, I was just waiting till the echo would end.
I don't think it's going to go away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's basically Forbidden Thinker's story in a nutshell.
Yep.
When you say theistic Satanist, could you describe that?
What that is it's a person that literally believes in the devil, like a literal Christian devil, and I felt like that was the only other option I had left, and I thought it was a cool idea to worship the devil, but it turns out if you have to read the Satanic Bible is like, no, you can't do that, and that kind of became a contradiction.
Yeah. Well, I know, I understand that. I went through a similar process myself, in as much as I went through variations of non-Christian, both New Age and things influenced by old religions, and even the thing about Satanism, I've been around intellectual Satanists, which they just seem to be atheists who like cloaks and who like a bit of drama and theater. But I did at one point come to believe, I'd lost all of my belief in just about everything, except I came to believe that the devil was real. And then I decided that if the devil was real, the rest of it was too. And so I went through that whole process, and then back to Christianity, and then finally completely out of the whole thing. So I'm just saying I can relate to those various stages one goes through.
So what do you think, Forbidden Thinker?
Oh, sorry, what?
No, were you what do you think about what McNuts just said?
Well, it was good. I mean, there are a lot of intellectual Satanists out there that do speak highly of things, and I even met one or two online. This is why I've been nagging Uzo to talk to them. But other than that, the big reason why I left Satanism is because it teaches a certain part where you can't help the helpless because they should help themselves, and I was actually exposed to a lot of people who couldn't help themselves. Like, I'm talking about physically, they can't walk. And that's the big motivator of why I left Satanism, because I couldn't have that mindset, while at the same time I was exposed to those people that couldn't actually help themselves and they needed actual help.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's giving up on those things. You're really starting to give up on part of the good part of being a human.
Yeah, exactly. And being part of human is to help others, and that's why I don't agree with the Anton LaVey stuff, because they're like saying you can't help those that can't help themselves, and that's something I've never been able to compute with me, basically.
Yeah, I've known a few of those sort, and I had great disagreements just based on their what I saw is worshiping, giving this great empowerment to one's own ego. I don't think that's very constructive in the long run.
It's a detriment to your mental psyche, because if you stroke your ego, it'll no doubtly lead to irrationality beliefs, as well as it makes it harder for you to question your own thoughts, and that's the other. And that's why I have a big issue with people who love to stroke their ego like that, because it just makes it harder for them to see the evidence that they could be wrong on this issue or that, and it makes them jerks.
Yeah, and you see it in a variety of places, not just in terms of religious ideologies and such.
Yeah, there are plenty of places where you'll find that, and stroking the ego is not religious exclusive. I mean, you can have that from all over places, and that's why when I was becoming a Buddhist, that was essential for calming me down, because it had a lot of philosophy sort of stuff that teaches you can't do this and that sort of helped me a lot, because if I transitioned from Christianity to Satanism, let's just say I'd be a lot more angrier now.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And that's why I would always say I don't. That's why I always say sometimes it's hard for me to understand other people when they are angry that they've been told a lie, because for me, all the anger was already expelled long before I even became an atheist. A lot of the anger, the ego, and certainly the xenophobic, bigoted beliefs I used to have were all dispelled when I was a Buddhist.
It can be really useful for that.
Yeah.
Now I'm back, guys. Sorry for that. I went to use the bathroom. I had to, man.
It's all right.
It's okay, man. There wasn't much dead space.
That's good.
Yeah.
I talk too much.
So, McNuts, how long ago did you discover my channel?
I don't really know. It wasn't very long ago.
Yeah.
Have you been? Is this the only channel you've ever had?
This I was first on YouTube probably. I'm wanting to say late 2007, early 2008, but I didn't start making videos until 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, April of 2012 is when I first created this channel.
Yeah, I came around really recently. I think I'd been seeing your name in comment sections, and had probably seen individual videos and didn't look to see if I was subbed or whatever. But
Yeah.
Then I don't know what it was. Oh, I think it may have been stuff you were saying regarding political stuff, SJWs and such.
Yeah.
And I really liked what I saw, and then I went through looking through your videos, through a lot of your back stuff on a variety of subjects, and thought, oh yeah, this guy's cool.
Yeah, I'm approaching 1,000 videos on my channel. I think
Wow.
I think I'm like 45 videos away from 1,000 videos.
Wow.
Which is not really that much in a 5-year period. But
That's a lot more than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, unless you're like someone like, Jason Burns, where you upload about 5 a day whenever,
Yeah, the Burns guy. Yeah, he's prolific,
Yeah.
amongst other things.
I've already gave my prediction to Blue in regards to when he'll come back, so we'll see if I win or not.
Oh, I never do. I just embrace my heart. I've given up. Actually, I forgot. I'll have to go look later and put in my my guess.
Yeah.
It's a lottery. I
Yep,
still send him a CD.
I gave my guess to Blue a couple of nights ago.
Well, he does that so frequently.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason just, he gets butt hurt, or he has some kind of Greek tragedy, or whatever, and then he goes away for a while.
Yeah.
And there's nothing left to do but guess when will he come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives the punters something to do.
It's actually, I don't know. There's been a lot of winners so far. I want to see if I can win this time. Damn it! I have to wait and see. I set my prediction for what was it, July 1st? I think.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see how it goes.
Indeed, it'll be Canada Day.
Yeah.
Yes, we too have 4th of July. It comes on the 4th of July every year, but Canada Day is on the 1st.
Yeah.
My friends, I must depart. I am pretty wrecked, and I think I'm going to go drink water and go to bed.
Okay, MacNuts. Thank you for coming by, sir. It was nice to have you here, and hopefully you can come by in the future.
I shall do that when I have my brains a little more together.
Hey, that works, man. Whatever works.
Nice to meet both of you here.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
All right.
So, Forbidden Thinker, is there any last words?
I think my only last word is think for yourself and question yourself and others. Those are the things that everybody needs to do in life.
Yeah. Oh, I've been wanting to ask you too. Did you ever finish uploading all those videos that you had for that big project?
I actually have the full thing rendered out, and YouTube decided to become, let's just say, just not agreeable for me, and it said it couldn't upload the 3 full hours, so I decided to upload one episode. There's like 3 episodes. It's like an hour each, and I tried to upload it last month, and I'm trying to decide if I should just upload this or next month.
Yeah. Well, just upload an episode once a month.
Yeah. And I was thinking about just doing it like that and seeing it where it'll take off at.
Yeah. Hey, that works, man. Whatever works. All you have to do is just upload a video once a month and go with that, as far as that project is concerned.
Oh, yeah. And I've already been told by, I think, one Steve Shipes fan or two that they really appreciate my content, and it started them to make them question their thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's really only a matter of time before Steve Shipes knows, and he will most likely respond to me.
Because you'll never get to someone like Steve Shipes, man. But for the people that are sitting on the fence, like I said earlier, that's the important thing.
Yeah. And a girl told me, and I'm not going to spoil her name. I'm not going to tell her name, but she talks to Steve Shipes a lot, and she told me to just address the people that are more willing to be talked about and have their views questioned than go after Shipes himself.
Yeah, people like Shipes are only interested in the echo chambers that they have, man. All they want is fucking yes, man. That's it.
Yeah, and this is my advice. This has happened to me once before, but if he replies to you in a comment, screenshot, because that's a mistake I've done. I wasn't fast enough to screenshot that comment before he deleted it. And when he does...
Oh, he never replied to me. I think he blocked me. I don't know. I haven't even checked. I don't even care. Yeah. I told him off one day in the comment section of one of his videos, and I also made that video about him a long time ago, a while back, and I think he blocked me after that.
Yeah.
Oh well. You're not gonna hurt my fucking feelings.
Yeah. Just for those who, when Steve Shipes does respond in the comment, screenshot those before he deletes them, because that's been my experience.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why he deleted his comment is because if he kept that on his channel, he'd be crucified by the other atheists.
Well, shit, man. I get on my channel, I screenshot automatically, man, because, they're a part of my hate mail series.
Ah, I've been watching those, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't made enough, because I hardly get anything. But I started to make, for each piece of hate mail that I get, I start making videos, and I'll upload them instead of, waiting to get a whole fucking compilation together, which can take months and months and months. Now, in fact, I got a video that I'm working on now with a specific piece of hate mail that I'll be uploading here within the next 1 or 2 days. So. All
right. My advice is, if you really want to stir up the hate, say something that the Christians will really hate you for.
Yeah.
If
you really want to stir up the hate, just talk about somebody that doesn't like to be talked about, I guess.
Yeah.
At least that's the way the mentality is these days.
Yeah. And that's pretty easy to do. Like, I used to have 100 negative comments the moment when I made the video about taking out Genesis, and my gosh, that was quick.
Yeah. Yep. Well, okay, Forbidden Thinker. I would like to mention one last time, everybody, that his link to his channel is in the description down below if you guys want to take a look at his channel. If his material is something that you guys may like, please give him a subscription. Last but not least, if any of you want to have a future show with me in this series, please email me at theclosetatheist77@gmail.com with a specific topic that you would like to talk about, and we'll get it together. I thank everybody who watched this episode. Thank you, Forbidden Thinker, for being a guest on the show. And everybody else out there, be safe. And if you can't be good at it. See you all later.